self-esteem can be very fragile.
Sponsored by Torongo.
Self-esteem, which is basically an indicator of how good or bad I think of myself, can be incredibly fragile. Unless you live up in the Himalayas or in a lonesome island, it's guaranteed that no one can pass a single day in life without facing or outright bumping into this fragility. And bumping into an adverse situation that tests our self-esteem can really hurt. Here are some examples on how to handle such a situation. Example 1. I try to remind my coworker that the project deadline is nearing. She harshly and negatively replies that she does not need a reminder from me. I was just trying to help her.
Now I'm wondering, is she angry because she did not win the lottery again? That's not the reason, isn't it?
Example 2. I tell my sister that next time she calls mother, can she please not discuss my social life with her? My sister lashes out for dictating her conversation with mother.
I just realized again that my sister is pretty democratic about lashing out at anyone. Today was my turn.
The solution to these situations are actually very well researched and understood. And you do not have to go to a shrink and pay to find out the solution. Here it is. In case of the coworker, the most mature response will be to carefully explain to her with respect and without shaming that I was honestly trying to help, and that a positive response from her would make others like her. Despite my effort, if she repeats the same behavior again and again, then there is no choice but to keep distance and continue to maintain boundaries with her. My coworker simply needs to like herself more to understand the fragility of self-esteem better. Now let's look into it to understand what liking oneself better really means in light of my coworker. Let's remember that high self-esteem people do not repeatedly respond in harsh and negative ways. So my coworker's behavior came from her being herself treated harshly over many years, perhaps by her primary caregiver or maybe by the lover. One definition of low self-esteem means that one does not think much of oneself. So, if my coworker was raised by her parents in a way that she always felt that her life is valuable, then she would be able to think that a simple project deadline reminder is just that, a simple project deadline reminder. It is not a threat to her value or self. In the case of my sister, it's complicated. If my parents raised my sister by telling her that you are precious, you mean a lot to us, you are valuable, then my valuable sister would not lash out at me for asking her to keep her boundary when it comes to my privacy. But my sister in her childhood was regularly shamed and demeaned by my father. This is the truth about her childhood. And it resulted in her feeling emotionally insecure. So it made her sometimes rebellious and sometimes completely subservient, depending on the situation. Most importantly, she lost her ability to talk in equal terms and with mutual respect.
She just cannot talk in moderation. She just cannot moderate. My coworker also just cannot moderate.
So a simple request from her younger brother, which is me, reminds her of the painfully demeaning childhood, and the switch turns on. Sometimes she would not even need any words from me at all to lash out. An accidental encounter that resembles a similar situation, and she will lash out simply in an email. The repeated shaming in one's childhood sets one up to be a victimizer in their adulthood. One more time. The repeated shaming in one's childhood sets one up to be a victimizer in their adulthood. We all should take note that in therapy, they say every victim becomes a victimizer. A low sense of security is one of the pillars that low self-esteem relies on to house itself in our minds and bodies. And where do we get that low sense of security? As mentioned earlier in this video, we get it largely from our family members over a long 18 or so years. We get it from our birth to adulthood. This simple fact is critical to remember. So, the first step in guarding our fragile self-esteem is to say to oneself every day, I am precious, I am somebody, I am good. Words that were not told to us when we were a little child. Now, the adult me tries to say that to the little me, assuring the little me that everything will be okay. The little me will be taken care of. The little me is safe. It is okay to feel secure. And I control my life. That things will get better for us, little by little, one day at a time. Send us a text, audio, or video clip of your situation, or simply ask us a question here. We'll try to help you.
I'm too attached or too detached. I'm too happy or too gloomy. I'm no bipolar, I've no disorder. I just can't moderate. Is this my fate? Raised in shame. Who should I blame? Too much feels great. That isn't moderate. That isn't moderate. When too much feels great, that isn't moderate. Can we all educate the way to liberate you and I?
Care to discuss a social problem with us? Send it in or give us your comments here.